back to TFTV. We are here with ETF2L Season 31, sponsored by Copenhagen Games and SDN.TF or SDN Trading. And today we have first week 7 game, and we only will have 2 due to teams obviously dropping out, but both of those 2 games are hugely important for playoffs. And the winner takes it all pretty much today, and even then it's not guaranteed with another game happening tomorrow. We have Ora Elektro against liest is doof, and we're starting off any moment here. And long story short, each team wants to win this. A tie is really bad for either side. It's still possible. I think on exactly tied score, Ora will take it over the Germans due to tiebreaker scores, but nothing is guaranteed right now, so either side wants to win this.
Yeah, and Plunk is supposed to be here, but he's not, so I'm just gonna cast a little bit with you while we go into this first mid. So we actually see he's being really aggressive, walking across mid, doing a ton of damage here, actually hitting some really nice pipes. But he gets pulled into the air and actually gets saved from the air shot by a helpful friendly scout. But yeah, this is anyone's game, but definitely the Germans having the better positioning, but they lose their medic, so that guy's gone. And now all of a sudden it has changed completely.
Yeah, late comeback into the season by Scruff pays off the last week. He already turned up, or last game I should say. And again, just finds his way under the point onto Honey and cleans up with Neville's help as well. Keeping their medic alive is hugely important with how fast Badlands caps now. And this will go all the way to last, unless somebody can find some miracle shots onto the medic now.
Yeah, that doesn't seem too likely. It's Ora Elektro, they have been pretty diligent about just shutting everything down and making sure to check every corner. They even found a soldier in forward spawn, and that's why I saw someone try to go behind him. I was wrong for that, and that's for sure. So we're actually just going to see them going through the main, it looks like, and they are ready for this, and they will actually rotate up top here. So they're going to go in top left with the scout and demo man into the sentry gun with the Pyro Inferno. This is like a really standard hold, but it makes it a lot more difficult now that the point caps so fast. But yeah, everyone's retreating to spawn. The point is still being held, and so far they've made very little progress. There's still a soldier inside the pipe. Looks like Eve's going to try and see if he can get down there and make some miracles happen, but no, miracles are not happening today.
Yeah, full wipe at the end of this, and like you said, they just really couldn't do much with the little bit of space they had on the left side. They are just struggling to do anything with that, and struggling to get onto the point. A few sticks, and I think as soon as not as soon as, but the south on the point, I think Fish even the boss, just made them completely uncomfortable going with the idea that they wanted to play the point there. And without point play, the fast cap time on Badlands doesn't mean a thing, and it might as well be the unpushable stronghold it used to be anymore. So didn't unfortunately go anywhere.
Yeah, look at where they're going. They're actually going east up right now. There's a single soldier, so he has called them out, but yeah, they made their way all the way in there without really needing any kind of resistance. So they're going to get Spire really easily. Just getting into a really good position very quickly. And of course, there's no chance for the sniper to actually get a good look onto the medic, but he is in main and he actually gets Demo Man instead. That's a pretty nice pick. That will definitely complicate any other push. You know, normally you want to just put stickies on the point and then dive it, but yeah, none of that so far. But instead we're just going to see this really aggressive pushing here. But there's a Pyro who's just struggling to take everything back, and the Demo Man Eames gets so many kills, and it's just Dr. Phil left alive, and he's going to hide in the corner.
Yeah, that was so strange. I mean, the idea to like sack a scout for the point and then just cap it out afterwards makes sense perfectly, but they just put both of them on there, and Phil's still behind lines. Has a bit of fun there, kills Scruff. Has not meant anything yet, but he has at least a little bit more freedom now, and can be annoying to get a force potentially in, but they're already all the way on mid. Just goes for the backup instead now, and this puts Ora into a weird position where they either want to go forward or go back, and they can't do both at the same time.
He's going to jump in on Spire, so we have a little bit of MGE going on. If he's just going to jump away, but he's going to miss his jump as well, and he will eventually lose that fight. But oh no, the medic goes down!
Unable just presses W onto them and just completely walks over them. Scouts need to make something here. Scruff can't quite land shots. Honey will stay alive. Just like I said, they were stuck in this weird decision-making limbo and just didn't go anywhere. And eventually people just decided to push forward, and Able just picks them apart. Germans back onto last year with solid advantage. In a few seconds they'll have the Uber already, where only Nevo can build anything here before Demos is even close to having an Uber.
Yeah, both soldiers are not really in this Uber so far, and actually Eames will take down Shocky there. That's really nice. It's going to be one less scout that can just randomly jump onto the point, and then, you know, once he breathes on it, he will just cap it out. And it looks like you actually see Poppy going very sneaky mode here. He's actually going to go in behind. I think he's just looking for that medic, but he will not find him before he can actually use Now War, he's got sneakies on the point. There's a scout, but he actually gets dealt with, and this is looking like it's going to be another successful hold here. So just doof, they're really struggling to actually make any kind of headway on this last point.
Yeah, the lack of numbers really paid off for Ora Elektro here. They just easily rotated back to left side. Nobody stopped him. Scout into lobby, wants to get something done here. Eames against the Scout, gets some help. Eventually Papi comes back to clean it up, and yeah, as I was about to say, they had the easiest time rotating through spawn. Didn't get really stopped too much and just could deny people trying to play the point really easily. That Eames just farmed damage and gets them out of last really nicely here. And we haven't seen too much of the high cap coming into play now on last. So far it's just been flip-flopping around through the map.
Yeah.
Once
oh
again,
my god, Eames is gonna send the Sky into the skybox.
Mistake.
What an airplay, that was really nice, what a jump in. They didn't get too much other than that. Like, it feels good to get that kill, but you know, it is just a scout kill at the end of the day, so not the most effective Uber there for sure, but you know, Ubers are still now pretty even. It's not a big disadvantage that they're at.
Yeah, but with 2 down, this is so detrimental. Phil dying extremely late as well. He either should have just stayed completely safe there or not going behind at all. I think just playing safe and just trying to wait for the Uber push to come in before doing anything would have been a lot better. Now they sure have an advantage push, but on 1 down, and it's much easier to not have to feel any consequences of this push and just avoid it completely.
War wants to go, and he's going to get bounced about a little bit, but he is just jumping in here. But no, once again, this is pretty much the same story, except for no one even dying this time around. So it's just going to be Ubers trading for the point. And now the counter Uber's going to come in here, and the War does go down. So finally, we've seen some real kills here. Papi's going to jump in here as well with the Scout. This is a really aggressive Uber. It's going to be extremely difficult for this medic to get out, but a nice surf actually. Shocky will help his medic get out alive here, but DmMmTm in so aggressively here. And man, this is just looking super sketchy for Honey.
Yeah, and even if he survives, they don't think it matters too much. They won't have full numbers for last. They're already on the point. Even just capped it out before anybody can even react in time, and they were still busy trying to save their medic. And that is such a classic problem teams run into in these sort of like mid trades, where eventually you just really want to cap the point, but it ends up leaving you too far forward, and an Uber that you previously dodged with ease is just suddenly just picking apart the team.
Absolutely, and you know, I'm actually looking a little bit for whether or not Asunas is doing any weird rollouts. We do see that sometimes, but so far he hasn't done it, you know, the banner rollout thing. It's kind of a new thing, but so far we haven't seen it. But I'm definitely going to keep my eye on it. And it looks like Medic gets jumped very early on, but he will survive. And as we saw Doof, they're just looking in absolute dire straits right now. Dr. Phil's going to go down as well. He's going to even pipe down a Scout here in mid-scruff will finish him off. It's just going to be Shocky limping back to his resupply cabinet with 13 health.
Yeah, what I noticed the last few days Ora Elektro has been playing Badlands on was that they struggled a bit with early aggression like this, and the Germans love aggression in general and on Badlands bit for sure. You saw Wall just jump in onto enemy side trying to kill things, but they have been dealing with it pretty nice at the moment, and it gives them this huge leeway into last with this Uber. They want to play it fast and aggressive, never takes a bit of damage early, doesn't matter. Uber follows up into left side, Pyro, Sentry are there. Damage still goes through. Pyro stays alive, which is good, but Gun's still down. Scout on the point, forces Fish Cop down, and a Scout as well, and that's just in already, with some nice damage and people rotating, just not quite quick enough.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. It was actually a soldier in the point, like in the pipe, but it just didn't matter because it just capped so fast. It was just the Scout standing underneath him and just managed to cap it. But yeah, really good pressure onto the point here. And oh, I think Asunas has done it. Yeah, he did the fast rollout. So can he land the skip jump? He can actually. So he's going to be onto them and super fast, and he just gets it. War goes down. This is the new thing here. But Dr. Phil's going to do a very similar thing, at least as far as the jumping goes. Takes down the medic instead of the demo. So far, that's a pretty good trade here. So just chaos on this middle so far. And it looks like Ora Elektro will get a pretty solid position onto it, but they're weak.
Yeah. Without heals as well, this will be even easier. They just barely need to look at them to scare them away. And there's not enough packs to have everybody go for really good jumps here, so Honey staying alive is the main priority for the Germans now, and it is made even easier with demos just now spawning. They're really careful though, they lost Fish pretty late, so they even do it with demos being up, everybody having completely full health, which already slowly happens over 5, and they kind of decide for this weird middle ground where Fish sure spawn, but they already waited too long.
Yeah, and War's going to go in here with this Uber. And once again, he gets bounced around a bit, but he's going to get this over nice aggression here coming in. Asunas is actually on Spire, so he's been pulling back some players.
Eames on mid as well. He doesn't quite hit Honey. wanted to block the point or at least get some useful kills, but they're just getting completely destroyed. As soon as late, also not quite enough. Honey will stay alive on 50, and Germans with an expected push turned it around even more so than I would have anticipated here.
And now it's just going to be a really easy Spire cap, and we're back on last. So far, Doof, they have been pretty bad at these last pushes. They just haven't been able to quite crack the nut, so to speak, just in there. And I'm curious to see how they're going to approach this. What do you think they need to change to order to actually nail this push? They do have the points.
They just haven't been able to play the point too much, and with how they've played this the last few days, this is what that's all they've been doing, really. Just no matter what, just dive onto the point. And they tried it once, but obviously just lost the scouts immediately and hadn't had anything else. So they just need to find a better balance between playing the point and actually getting kills, which they either did all or nothing in that regard so far, and once again pushed in from left side like you would expect onto the sentry, onto the pyro, getting the gun, losing Phil early though, trying to play the point, getting that on and already down. Early on, Demos has all the time in the world to get this Uber and just pop into them, clean up some more. Everybody just desperately tries to get back into last. Please threaten the back and Shocky in as the last one, but he lost all his teammates and his own life eventually as well.
Yeah, just once again, they just managed to kite it out really well. And then, like, the German, they're trying to play the point, but it's just Ora Elektro, they're extremely good at actually just shutting that down. And oh, there's the scout. Unabled. Oh, okay, he barely got stopped by some spawners there, but yeah, this is the danger of this. Man.
Yeah, and even then, he was behind. If he didn't actually go for last, but just realized he couldn't get it anymore due to cap time, he could have still tried to go for demos, but Papi spawned at the time. And disadvantage will stay intact, it's 60-ish, 50% even. And they're just building up the last few percentages. Both teams had instances where they just got completely destroyed in these expected pushes on mid. So let's see if the Germans can avoid it this time, because again, the leapfrog here would be the best case scenario.
Scout is super aggressive. That Scruff ran in before the Uber came into play, and he just got destroyed. Like, there was no way the medic could save him there on that one. So I wonder if he was just wanting to go medic or, oh, not medic, sorry, sniper or something like that.
I don't know, on advantage like this, it doesn't really make sense. They just took too long with their idea to push there. They just stood in choke there waiting to get shot basically instead of just going.
And now it's going to be even Ubers, and we actually see Fiskov jumping in onto the medic, gets a nice first rocket, and the second one as well. And that will get the force out. Really nice jump in here, but they do lose the soldiers, so it's still something that can be pretty difficult to actually work with, but we'll see whether or not they wait for the spawner or what they do. And actually they're going to go resub, it looks like.
Yeah, they're going from Valley, trying to just take this in without a potential sniper sight on or anything, trying to deal with the flank as well before anything happens. As soon as it's just getting boxed into forward spawn, everybody else just slowly moves back, but eventually Papi from behind. Nobody checked house. This is where the damage came from. Getting skyboxed by his trap and shutter, but it doesn't really matter. He was Ubered. Push complies eventually. Papi still behind lines. It's actually so good with the Uber advantage they have right now. Pushing out of Badlands last is really, really hard. And having a player behind like this on 5, player up on the other side, is really useful. And they obviously are already quite far forward. They want to make this happen. Phil in upper lobby just walks over Scuff, drops down in front of the demo man. Oh, not quite what he was looking for.
Yeah, Papi, he came in here, he found the demo man, but he can't quite land the rockets in time. So now he's stuck behind with very little health, and that makes a big difference. And looks like he has survived, but man, he is just being so annoying right now.
Yeah, they're really, really unfortunate there for Ora Elektro that didn't work. They still have the advantage, and they still have a pick with Phil being down, but I don't know, the advantage is dwindling by the time it's usable. It's really tough to actually make this happen. Phil, Papi still in the backlines. They know each other probably. Papi can check spawns, and Phil is probably aware enough that Papi is still somewhere around here, but if nothing happens, then they don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah. We're still trying to get another caster, guys, but yeah, it's difficult to us to do production and cast and find people. So yeah, just work with me. All right, cool. All right, console, you're here. That's good. I'll get you the connect info and stuff.
Yes, I am. I'm just getting on my VPN so I can connect to STVs.
Nice, nice. Okay, we have still this 2-0 lead for Ora Elektro. Shocky just died in the middle of this last stalemate here. The Germans had like 3 or so attempts to get into last. None of them worked so far. And with how much easier it is to push, you really can't afford to waste good advantage opportunities like these too much anymore. As we approach halftime, they're just waiting for the spawner to come back, just getting annoyed by the pyro and looking for an opening here. They actually decide to have one themselves. with Shocky deciding to pick up Pyro. Maybe he's still in spawn. Maybe he's considering, yeah, he goes Spy instead for now. That's the off-class of choice. But so did Scruff, he checked. I don't know if he perfectly timed it, but they did check for something.
Yeah, I think they're just having some due diligence, just checking out the different things what's going on. But okay, here comes the Spy, and he actually did barely manage to go in there without getting hit by Poppy. So it's a good job by Shocky there, making his way in. I don't think they expect the Spy yet, but he probably needs to move pretty quickly, because at some point you begin to get suspicious, you know, and there is this sentry gun behind the point, which is not in itself a problem, it's just not very good position, because that means there's an engine down there. But Uber actually did come in, so they just do an Uber exchange, and again, I definitely don't think they suspect the Spy. And now we have just a bunch of distractions going on, and that's going to be it for Shocky. He has uncloaked and he's ready. Can he actually get in here? And no, he misses the first stab, but he actually gets the second one. Tries to pistol down the medic. He's somewhat losing it, but it doesn't matter. There we go. The demo man going down was enough.
Yeah, they just used the distraction here to just time the push in at the same time, got over the sentry in the corner and just walked over everything in front of them. A lot of just weird things happened there, but that's kind of what they like to do, just a lot of chaos to just eventually touch the point.
Yeah, and okay, Zuni is doing it again, but this time around, yeah, War's not gonna fall for it twice. So, you know, it's a good way to react to that.
Well, they just all dive in anyway. The soldiers just come in the second time around. Eames as well leading the charge there. Just completely destroy them in barely after they still have to recover from Azuna's bombing in the first place. And, you know, they say if you don't succeed at first, try again. And they just did it again. Just completely destroyed them.
Yeah, like maybe just the fact that the demo man can't get out there and get some early stickies on into the house here because he has to defend himself. Maybe that just is enough. And now they even got down the sentry gun. This is a really good situation now for Ora Elektro. They just need to not mess up the push. And oh my god, he's just so weak. So that's going to be a bit of an issue. And they're not really doing a whole lot. Oh no, Dr. Phil actually gets it. So this push is just an absolute shambles. They are still having a couple of players in there. And Nemo actually does a bang-up job of actually doing a ton of damage. But eventually, they're going to have to retreat. Just the medic surviving, the heavy being fully buffed, and even a pyro to be. It's a very scary thing to do.
Yeah, and if you have a main push like this, you either need to be able to like push onto the point immediately, or just like jump up immediately, switch target to preferably the demo man, obviously, because he can deny the point the easiest, and then do the same thing you would have done anyway. And they just tried to play the point through the demo man's damage without actually trying to get much to any kills there. Kind of which what the Germans have struggled with so far, and it leads to the same result we've seen before. Still, it's not enough for the Germans to leave last year. We have Phil on the banner, and Honey has at least full Uber, but it's on Badlands last. Demos is getting closer and closer, so it's not a good opportunity to actually try to move out with anymore.
Yeah, we see Scruff on Sniper, so they are definitely just playing it slow here. They were just kind of holding back while they had the Uber disadvantage, and now Scruff's going to see if he can move forward. And, you know, you can definitely do things on Badlands where you jump people in through main, then you make people drop down because they're panicking about the point, and then you start sniping them.
Oh yeah, especially nowadays, you just have so many more opportunities to bait people that it's like a stalemate still favors the team on lobby a lot more.
I am in server, by the way, just so you know, so I'm good to take over if you need beater.
Yes, please do. Just go
Great.
on, do your thing.
Yeah, but one thing I did notice about that is despite the fact that they actually did know about the sniper, they did go spy and check for it, they still lost a player. It's a little bit unfortunate, but it looks like they didn't really move off of it. Weren't able to really peek anything deep in the last. However, they are getting both soldiers spamming from this lower area, and they will get the gun down, so I'm able to try and get their sniper deep off of that. And Nemo is going to go down as well, so looking like maybe a potential here for Ora Elektro to not do anything. They are on the other team. I'm not too familiar with EU teams still, so...
It's really strange to see these teams struggle so much, where, like, in other games, people just, like, casually walk onto the point and create, like, chaos for days. And neither of these two teams currently can do so much in the stalemate right now. Both of these sides just approach it pretty much like we did for the last few months. Just going back to off-blasted sniper it is, or Elektro trying to get a pick to get in here in the first place, but I don't know if that's the right idea. I feel like they should play this more aggressively at the moment. Granted, they are around up. It's not a big lead, but it is enough of 1-2 at least. be able to afford playing slow. So they got that going for them on Ora Elektro. The Germans just need to hope for this to be over soon. Cause in a weird turn of events, with the cap time being as fast as it is and it's so easy to push now, being stuck on last like this is just really detrimental. And it's kind of better to just lose around and try to move on from there back with a mid-fight, honestly.
Yeah, definitely true. Scruff's actually gonna get Dr. Phil here, so maybe they'll be able to walk off of this. And no, never mind, they're immediately gonna get traded out by Unabled, so not much is gonna come of it. But yeah, I do remember now that you guys do play the Pro-Land version of Badlands, so you guys actually play with the faster cap, and you guys also have a different rule set, so you guys, the players here can just kind of afford to wait on last since it's 10 minutes. There's no second half. I just woke up, so apologies.
I mean,
I'm still
the second
wrapping my head
half
around
in EU is just the second map, basically, so
Yeah.
that's that. But, you know, if you win one map, then you won that map. But yeah, a few headshots happened while you were like discovering the joys of the UTF2, but nothing happened off of them. They just got a bit of space and lobby, the Germans here, and the only thing that really came of that is enough space for Shocky to comfortably sneak through lobby really slowly and making his way through upper lobby. But everybody's so far back. Ora Elektro's playing this super conservative, like the cap time never changed in the first place, and just waiting it out to get the spawns back before they even approach the bridge, let alone lobby anymore. So Shocky won't have to wait much longer here before people are in decent positions, but it all takes so long. But he gets his way behind, gets the scrub, but not the medic.
Such a close play from Shocky, but no beans there. He does get one pick. Is he going to get traded out? It looks like they're going to try and spam the side string again. Actually, they're going to jump in onto the point and they're going to get it for free.
They could have done that for the last 5 minutes, but they just decided, oh, now we have one kill, that is good enough. Let's just jump the point and win. And would you look at that? One lapse of awareness on the German side, and it's over already.
Well, I guess they needed a little bit of inspiration to try and take that jump into last, as we do see this next mid going, and we see young Warrior Hurya getting there a little bit earlier than Eames, throwing out his spam stickies, but nothing yet, and a high bomb in from the soldiers is Warrior's going to get taken down, but Eames and Zunis get traded out, and it looks like it's basically going to be mid for free, except for the fact that MMR is behind.
Puppy behind lines is so annoying. He did so much damage while the scouts just walk over the point to try and clean up Puppy Dice eventually, but they're still on even numbers with that, and Scruff can just easily clean up Unable. Fish and Honey are super weak. They want to get some kills here. Unable, no, Scruff it is, goes deep. Fish actually gets the kill, and they can't afford to chase this anymore, otherwise they just would get themselves into more trouble than it's worth with spawners coming up on the German side as well. Unfortunate for Ora not to get more here, but they played really well with Papi being behind. Germans, however, feel confident enough to try to reapproach this with people on the point. Everybody from rollout comes back in, Fish goes down first, Phil super weak as well, but they want to keep up the fight. Damos uses, Honey already dropped 2, this is not looking too hot for the Germans, but they just don't have to use just yet, and losing 2 is not too bad if they don't get caught in a really bad exchange here, and so far that's just not happening.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising there hasn't been more pressure here, but as I say that, the soldier jumps in, immediately dies, but the scout comes behind and drops the medic! Oh no!
And he gets wall as well. On top of that, they just didn't see him coming, and suddenly this all turned around. Germans barely don't cap it. Actually, I would even say not capping this is worse for Ora, because the backup potential is there, but they haven't even capped a point themselves, which I didn't even realize until now, so they capped the case so fast in the first place here, and they can just, and it still all counts as the mid fight for the Logs way of approaching this, so eventually this mid fight is over. Ora Elektro will win it, and with the mad kill delayed by Scruff just walking in from behind confidently, who yet again getting themselves a huge advantage. Honey goes crits with that. It's the do or die situation for them pretty much, because getting stuck on last for a long time here again is just a death sentence, so they wanna not lose second here if they can help it in the first place. Ora has different ideas, just comes in confidently, Demos goes weak, has to use, but they're all so close to Spire that it's just a matter of hitting a few shots. 3 down already, Max at 4, and that's just a complete disaster for the Germans. Unable, no, Shocky jumping force life actually gets 1 kill onto the Zunis, but that means so little. Spire has been capped, War on last is the only line of defense, needs to waste a few seconds to get a lot of spawns up, arguably, but I don't think it might be enough here. Players already come in, War pushed off the point, and Phil not quite fast enough either.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a fast round. They're able to just walk in. Unfortunately, the spawns were not going to be enough, and Ora Elektro take yet another round, looking to put this 4-1, and 2 more rounds before they're able to get this Mercy roll.
Yeah, they have this all under their control now. They can play it as fast or slow as they want to, and given that they only played it slow, unless they get a good opportunity from the mid-fight, they probably will do just that. As soon as it's kind of fast, but doesn't overcommit to it this time. Approaching this to just go back behind line. Speaking of which, Fish as well, and he gets some help there, just cleans up all the damage, gets 2 kills with the demos disconnected from the rest of his team. They just try to flank, desperately get Honey to get their medic some time to get out, but Fish just finds the kill anyway. And they're unable to find it themselves. Convincing mid-win for the Germans, and they need one desperately. They don't have much time to get these rounds on the board. They need 3 to get any points out of this.
Yeah, looks like they tried to do some weird mid-split thing where they kind of put their soldiers on the shit house and they put the rest of their team on their other side and kind of pinched, but they just dropped too many players and it didn't really work out for them. And now it looks like they're going to be dropping a last push as we do see the full Uber range coming out. They're going to get the scout on the point early. They have a Pyro trying to defend it, but it's not looking like it's going to help. They're so close to being capped, and that is going to be another point now for blue team.
Yeah, it took so long for them to finally have some better success at these, but maybe it's not quite too late. We saw how fast this round was. That was just about a minute and a bit. So 2 more of those is certainly still possible with 4 minutes 20 left on the clock here, and just a matter of time. And these 2 mid-fights that need to happen need to be another few convincing ones.
Well, it's definitely possible as we do come into the 7th mid of the map. High bomb in here from Fishkopf, trying to get something onto the medic. And Eames is going to get pretty low, but nothing is going to come, and Demos is going to stay alive. And actually, a lot of the frags are going the other way. As 3 down now, they're going to have to start backing up here. Just Chalky and unable left now. Oh, no. Yeah, just Chalky left. Oh, it's a wipe. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a complete wipe. That was really well done. They defended nice from the jumps in the first place, and Papi's jump behind as well meant that regardless of how much damage Fish and Phil did themselves, there were no scouts to follow up on any of that. War was just stuck alone forwards after the soldiers died, and the attention was split really well onto the German side to the point where Ora just had the easiest time in their life to clean up the kills here. And with this little time left, it might as well be curtains. Ora needs to mess up majorly, and Eames dying is the start for that, but still both soldiers went down trying to get the damage in the first place, so not a great opportunity to do anything here. And Ora just goes in through main. Honey doesn't have, they dive into the point. Need to get some kills first before they can actually touch the point here, but it looks this will be curtains.
Yes, unfortunately again for Veras Listas, ist doof unable to get any luck on the mid and kind of just get rolled from the Uber advantage 2-5 now, looking pretty unlikely that they're going to be able to turn 3 rounds over, but we'll see. They can, I believe they can still technically roll with 2:44 left.
I don't know the exact time. Let's pretend it is, and let's see how they're doing on this mid fight. Coming in, high jump again, but Fishkopf throwing in some damage. Everybody else from under the point trying to approach this a bit differently now, trying to just chase these kills, but everything just avoids it pretty nicely so far. Unable goes down Fish as well. All of them mostly avoiding Puppy goes down eventually. Devils is disconnected, but they're still struggling to find kills anywhere else. Or just rotates away from them as much as they can, and with 3 down, trying to even get the position they had in first place, and Honey going weak as well. This is looking curtains for this mid fight, and for that matter, for the game now.
Yeah, I think at this point it might be considered garbage time. We do see Eames trying to jump in and stick off the shutter here, just completely deny any chance of Veras List getting any room on second. And it looks like Honey will actually be going down to a bomb from Zunis, so yeah, it pretty much lights out.
Alright, I think because we didn't have much time precast, I think this is a good moment to talk about the exact point situation here these teams find themselves in, because every team outside of the top 3, which are already set for playoffs, can still make it. These 2 and Swift. And Swift has 6 points. These 2 are tied on 5. And 3 right now for Ora is obviously helpful, but by no means a guarantee to make it through into playoffs here in the end. So sure, it's a setback, but it's not impossible for the Germans to still make Ora's life into playoffs a lot harder here.
Yeah, so again, I am unfortunately a dumb American in y'all's eyes, so I say y'all, typical American, but you're gonna have to explain to me the point system very quickly.
Okay, a map win is 3 points. If it goes into a golden cap, each team gets 1 and the winner of the golden cap gets another, so 2 for the winner and 1 for the loser of the golden cap for a map. And max points you can get out of a fixture in any week is 6 points with that, 2 maps, obviously.
Yeah. Alright, I understand now. So basically, playoffs run is still potentially possible for either one of these teams, but the 3 points down will be kind of a setback.
Yes, for sure. And in case of a tie, it becomes hugely complicated here because then they're still tied at points. And if Swift were to lose their game tomorrow, I think against Feint as well, it comes down to tiebreaker. And that is even more confusing, so let's not get into that. But as it stands, Ora are like a quarter step into playoffs right now. And even if after the game, if they were to win the next map, they're only a half step in anyway. Because it all depends on how Swift is doing. But, you know, like I said before the game, it's all up in your hands right now. If you win, you have the best chances to make it. And this is already half a win for Ora Elektro here in map 1. 2-6 will be the final scoreline. In a relatively convincing fashion, all has to be said here, and I expected this to go different, I'll be honest. Before we went live, me and Vita discussed this a little bit, and I said that this looked more like a map for the Germans and Process looked more like a map for Ora, but this shakes things up right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting to see, definitely. Especially if these maps have playoff implications, it's always nice to see the juicy drama, because these are always kind of the maps that you see teams try the hardest on, you know? It's like that little sliver of a chance of maybe making playoffs, maybe making, you know, the double elim bracket. So this is where you're going to see teams grinding the hardest to try and say, you know, I was able to make Prem playoffs. And because that looks pretty good on your TF2 resume.
Yeah, and Ora definitely wanted. They finished 4th at LAN. They like grind scrims like every day almost, and they really want to make it. And yeah, they're super keen for this. Not to say the Germans aren't keen, because obviously they want it as well. But you know, Ora has like been losing out on playoffs like this closely for a while now, and this is a good start to the rest of this fixture here right now. Let's look at the numbers. Let's see who stands out in any way. And we mentioned him a couple of times already. Scruff 24 in 14 is certainly a really good performance. He had like these really flashy moments where he just walked in from behind, dropped the medic, killed War, and just completely turned around to tie up the game. I think he had 2 of those moments, and just Scruff on his own had a really good game. Same with Eames, 23 in 12. That's really impressive in its own right. That's less deaths than Honey, to say the least. So that's really good for sure.
Yeah, it kind of seemed kind of like the Scruff McGuff. No, not Scruff McGruff. That's an NA player. Jeez, my mind is really. I'm sorry I praised the red, white, and blue. I voted yesterday, so maybe that's what's on my mind. But yeah, Scruff is also a recent addition to the roster, if I remember. So
a recent return, yeah. He used to play with them before. He couldn't play too much of the beginning of the season, so they got Marosh instead. But he became available at the beginning of this week. So, and with Marosh not feeling too keen, it just made sense to have him back, and he immediately steps back up tremendously.
It's definitely been paying off, and with them trying to secure that playoff spot so far, it's looking up, and maybe they'll be able to roll this momentum into the next map. What is the next map?
It will be CP Process, the good old gold standard of Tier 2.
Yeah.
So
it's
yeah,
another classic scout map as well.
Yeah, another thing that maybe didn't stand out too much in the logs here, but is worth mentioning, is how much of an impact this unit had on the mid-fights with the fast roller. Regardless of him hitting it perfectly and getting war immediately or not, he put up enough pressure with it every time when he went for it that it always led his team to get something off of it. Even if he didn't kill the demo man, even if War survived, they got so much space with it that the Germans had a hard time recovering from it if he just hit some damage onto him.
Nice. Well, we'll see if that ends up making any difference here. It looks like we are getting players still reconnecting back to the server after the map change, so we do have a little bit of time before this goes live. So are there any other players that a non-U folk or a non-in-the-loop folk should be watching for, especially on a map like Process that's so scout-driven?
I don't know. I think the blanket statement that is easy to say is scouts here, because all of these scouts are incredible, and in a wide open map, or so just a force to jump to like cover distance fast. Having your scouts just pick them apart on the mid fights or elsewhere in general will make a huge difference. So yeah, the scout duo that survives mid fights is probably gonna win these mid fights for that team.
I see. The one thing I am hoping for, because the few players I am familiar for, at least specifically on Verdas Liest, is Doof from casting some of the old Essentials monthlies many a moon ago, was Fishkoff, and he just hits insane direct. He's what we would call an MGE lord per se. He's a pretty crazy soldier, so I'm hoping to maybe see stuff out of him as well.
Yeah, what I'm interested in is how the more slowly paced situations go to stalemates, because the Germans like exchanging, and the last bit I've seen of Ora Elektro before this, in practice, was that they struggled a bit with like these aggressive exchanges from our team to using them against them. The Germans like doing those, so that could be a huge detriment if Ora can't adapt to that quickly, and I'll be interested to see how that goes. The Germans are by no means the best team to go for them. They're still having some troubles with them every once in a while, but they do them enough to have some sort of confidence in them. And it could be a huge problem. The one area where the Germans struggle a lot more than Ora Elektro, and we saw last map as well, is last pushes. Obviously for much different reasons than our Badlands, but still nonetheless, the last pushes on Process have not been looking too hot so far this season, and if that goes to show here again, it will be a huge problem.
Yeah, would be a little bit of a hitch in the idea of trying to get into playoffs. You'd have to make up maps and pray that Swift let them in, so I think they're going to try and get the map win here and probably make that not such a deciding factor.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this will go. Obviously, we hadn't had too much time to look at the snipers here, even though we had a bit of time with the snipers, but it didn't end up mattering too much by the end of the stalemates. On Process, it's a bit of a different story. The snipers can easily have a much bigger impact, I'd say at least, than on Badlands, and it can easily, much easier come into the focus of the game to just evolve into sniper battles. And with players we have on the server here right now, this could be an interesting showdown. Nevo and Scuff are both incredible snipers. Unable and Shocky are good, but much less so playing sniper a lot than the other two here. So this could be an interesting showdown if it comes to it.
Definitely be something to look out for, yeah. Process definitely lends itself more to sniper, you know, you can't nearly close people in as much. You kind of have just all of this wide open space. I mean, you can sit a sniper all the way, like, back at your forwards and just watch choke. And yeah, there's just crazy sightlines on this map, so hoping to see some of those epic sniper plays as we do see the map is about to go live.
Yeah, second map of the evening. Ora Elektro won the first map, got 3 points already. They want some more, and the Germans' only chance to make anything happen here is to just deny Ora Elektro's dreams right now, to steal away their points and win this map over them, to get 3 on the board for themselves as well. Demo's going fast, but so far not too much happening with that. Fish going fast as well, just denied by Yuzunis on the other side. Scuff goes up on top of Quay, takes so much damage early. Both scouts just walk into him. Fish goes high, Phil straight for the medic. They're forcing the back so far into the own hub already. Yuzunis and Papi dive in, and they do get kill onto the medic. And suddenly on the chase forward, the Germans just fall apart here. Only Shocky and Fishkopf left alive. It started so well, they forced them back so early, but they chased too deep with too little damage, and Demo staying alive will be the huge difference maker, if not for Shocky being behind the lines.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like they tried to play the high ground, and they did a really good job of doing it on the right side. The Germans did. However, there just was this crazy high bomb in from, I think it was Azunis, and he just got onto Honey basically for free, and his team was kind of forward and couldn't help him out, and I think we're gonna pause now.
Yeah, it should be. Papi is looking directly at Shocky. I don't think he can... he can just about see him. He can just about see him through the little gap there, so... He knows where Shocky is, they know where Fishkopf is, he's just jumping away from them. So, at least in the awareness level, they don't have anything to worry about, but it's still Shocky, it's still Fishkopf. They could easily just decide against leaving and just jump back in and try to feed onto demos here.
That would be an interesting play to see, for sure. Yeah.
That's an early pause as well, and it's always fun to speculate whose fault it is that we have a pause here. I say Shocky because German internet is terrible.
Yeah, possibly. I know the one thing that I like to do best, I'm typically more used to actually doing the observing than the casting. So, my favorite thing to do is always try and look at, to try and pass the time during pauses. Who has the best bicycle wheels? You see all these players flying in the air.
Cosmetic are still allowed at the moment, I think. Because, you know, it's like past Halloween and You know,
yeah,
devs can't be bothered to change that, so they're probably still here.
Yeah, we gotta see
So
who has
you
the
can-
best bike decked out.
Yeah, you can take a look at that, and you can see fancy stuff like Shocky looking full default.
Unfortunately, Shocky is not floating in the air, so we don't have the bicycle. However, Fishkoff, this man is looking like he's just rolling down the street. He's got the bicycle pedals going. I hope we're getting that on
It's
stream.
a shame that this happened like directly after the mid-fight when nothing is happening. Well, you could at least speculate what could happen, because the most that can happen is both Shocky and Fish just feeding, and we, as we established, it's not looking too good with everybody knowing where they are. Granted, there's no scout around, and Puppy's busy looking at Fishkopf, so it's all on to Eames right now to try to deny Fish, who's weak though, so a single pipe would do the job already.
Yeah, only 9 to 1. He's gonna land and take that crater damage, and I don't think the pack near him is gonna be up either. So he's probably an easy cleanup, and obviously Shocky's still behind, but he has been enemy spotted, and it looks like we're gonna be going back into this. So yeah, Fishkoff gonna be jumping out of choke, and it looks like Fishkoff, Stefan Shocky is gonna be trying to pull some players back to second, and pretty successfully, but will go down. Looks like it's not gonna make much anything of it in the end, and it's going to be relatively good mid-cap.
Yeah, and losing a player that doesn't help much either. It's a scout down of all things as well, so denying stuff coming in will be a lot harder. They switch Honey to crits after respawning here, which is probably mostly a matter of trying to get out of last here, because defending second is pretty much impossible. As Eva comes into second, into Rollout immediately trying to pick up people that are too close, and there's too many up in Rollout. 3 people down already, unable to walk, all going down. This can be strictly converted to the last push. Crits is up, but they already lost Chalky. Everybody just jumps on the point, it's all on to Fish, and he gets the kill. He gets 2 even, but 2 isn't enough, with 6 walking up your way. And quick conversion here from Ora Elektro with just a nice little Uber up into them in rollout.
Yeah, nice start off to kind of, you know, taking that momentum from second map, or first map, putting it into the second, taking a round, and hopefully more for them as we roll into the second mid. Warhorse getting here a little bit of a speedy boy once again, but he gets immediately fast bombed by Azunis, so he's gonna have to back up and get Bo from his medic immediately. Seems like again they're gonna try and go for this right side play, and a really deep bomb from both soldiers here as we see. I think this is where the pause happened now. Yes, so they kind of get locked out of choke as the pause happened. This kind of really unfortunate time. Scruff and Azunis are actually still in, and actually Azunis is going to get the pack, so they might be able to cut Honey and the scout off here. Yeah, Honey's going to get cut off, but hits a nice surf, hits 2 nice surfs. Honey is possibly going to make it out. Honey a god? No. Unfortunate.
And that was such a good denial. I mentioned the scouts on mid are hugely important on this map, with how much relies on the soldiers having to cover huge distances, and Phil and Fish unfortunately didn't get too far, just got eaten up with air. And that's 2 kills immediately going the enemy team's way at that point, and they just converted off that really nicely. Honey dying late as well is even better than him dying early. So there's even more advantage to play off now. They can play as slow as they want, and they still have huge advantage to last. There's Shocky on Spy though, who was upper-eyed so far back. He needs to cover so much distance now. He waited too long, I think, with everybody already approaching the lobby. Second has been capped. 6 people making their way into last, just straight from 1, popping through, unable, getting war. Phil in trouble as well. Neville and Eames will clean him up. Everybody over the point, and it's all up on Fish and Shocky on Spy. Not doing too much. He gets Eames. Can feel nice about that. The kill is not too good in the logs if you still are down 2 rounds.
Yeah, unfortunately, a little bit of a mistiming play there from Shocky is going to cost his team that round. Not able to hold on to last with that big Uber disad, and looks like they're going to try and roll into a 3rd mid now, as War is actually going to roll out to the right, and oh no, another fast bomb from Azunis keeps on catching War out. He is going to go down on the right side, and that's pretty much curtains for this mid already, as they're going to concede.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They left early, so to just preserve potential stalemate here, not lose the mid fight anymore. But War is still down by the time the cap has been captured fully, so Ora still have some time here to make something happen. As soon as from the flank, well, both scouts just walking into choke aggressively, but they both walk into Phil. 2 for 1. Special deal there on the flank.
Phil's trying to go behind and catch them out. Oh.
Not getting everything here, unfortunately, but he got enough for his team to get into mid. They're 2 down to 3, easily enough have momentum here into mid. Ora has different idea. They want to fight. The spawns are coming in. Azunis is up on the field now as well. So even numbers as the push comes in with the Uber. Honey, however, serves it away. Doesn't have to use for so long. The Puppy gets caught with that as well, but everybody else has to leave before the Uber fades. And they got themselves into a lot of trouble here with that, and they're getting chased into choke as well. So Gopke takes so much damage, will go down. 2 down, Shocky dies eventually for the Germans, but they already threw choke. They can make more happen with this. They still just need to cap the midpoint first.
Yeah, the Germans got caught and choked a little bit, kind of juggled out by the demo and soldiers. They weren't really able to walk forward on the Uber like they intended to, but it looks like they're going to try and re-push this now, as we do see the demo bomb in Warher, trying to stick off as much area as he can while his soldier jumps in and tries to cover off his damage. War is going to go down though, which is pretty unfortunate, so losing a demo there, not exactly what you're looking for. And it might actually be prime pushing opportunity for demos, especially now that they have a slight Uber advantage, which is definitely pushable, as they're going to get it now, and Honey's only at 80%, so they're going to be walking through choke here, and looking to try and get something, but Eames is going to go down, and the soldier is so hurt, going to get a... Actually, the scout's going to steal Poppy's bow, so it looks
but
like...
as soon as never through flank dealt so much damage, got them out of position, they can push back in, Scott and Poppy, the choke point, getting so much space, as soon as from behind gets the drop onto Honey. And War's just left to die a bit now as well. Really well done off just a small distraction by the flank for the combo to execute off of this. Really well done. And Azunas just picks them up. One more support player there at the end. Fish with an unfortunate 1v1 there against Square better health in PC on sewer even. Will get cleaned up. Sniper and forward spawn gets spotted, can't land a shot, unfortunately. Unable, has to back spawn. Shocky building the gun. Big advantage for Ora Elektro, and they have again a huge opportunity to get last with one player down still as they approach last as well.
Yeah, it's going to be real difficult to hold off this 100% Uber dis-ad, as we do see Ora Elektro trying to peek into, potentially looking to go into this 3-hole here. Demo Scout Uber is going to get popped off pretty early, and they're going to be focusing down this gun immediately. Dr. Phil's going to go down as well, which is already pretty nice. However, the sniper is going to take down Poppy. Scruff will get traded out, though. It is looking up still right now in terms of Ora Elektro's chances of winning this last, as they're going to take down Stefan as well, and it's just Honey and young Warher left to try and pipe everyone left on the point, and he's hitting a bunch of pipes, but it's not going to be enough. It is going to be yet a 3rd round for Ora Elektro, and it's not looking too good right now for Verdas Liest doof.
Yeah, they're just not getting it together quite enough. Nice little execution there by Ora Elektro at the end of this one. It was still even numbers technically, but they just nicely out-DM'd and had good target selection there and focus fire to make this one happen. And they need a change of pace here desperately right now. It's only 8 minutes off the clock and already 3 down. It's not a good start to the game, and let's see how they approach the midfight here.
Yep, looking like once again War is going to get there early, but denied by the early Azunis bomb, and actually we're going to see a bomb in from Poppy. Doesn't really get much done, but we'll get some damage, and we'll allow the Germans to get forward, so they're actually going to be able to lock out Ora Elektro from choke and take mid pretty cleanly. As I say that though, Azunis is in for my team. He's going to be fighting on the point to try and deny this cap, so it hasn't gone down yet. He's making a little bit of trouble in the back line, so anything could still happen here. The cap does go off, but still yet again behind, and getting unable down to 5 HP and still just toying with it, so wasting a lot of time and allowing his team to stalemate on second here.
Yeah, the pick that they got on him isn't too useful. Like you said, it's a stalemate. A single pick is usable, but it's difficult to make great success of a play. They want to make this happen though. Scouts are in, Phil is just waiting for an arrow, and everybody else just from Stewart making their entrance slowly but surely, throwing the damage and wanting the spam exchange, wanting Demo's weak, and they do get him weak enough to just force the Eber early, but they have people too far forward with the position they had, and Honey will go down as well.
Oh,
Shot
no.
in the back, but Scruff didn't even see it coming. And they had the right idea there, but they just had people too far forward once the Eber actually came off. And the right idea doesn't mean a lot when the execution is just falling apart like this.
Yeah, ideally there, especially with that one down from the back plays, you really want to just be able to, get one player in, maybe lose one player in, and get the force off, get out. But they stayed in too long, they overstayed their welcome, and now they're full Uber desat as it's going to be walked in. Honey, Fish, and Phil, all dead. Second finally capped, and it's probably the round.
Yeah, it's just a matter of cleanup here. Water fights to the last second, but it's not enough. Just again, really quick conversion by Ora Elektro to clean up anything. Before second was even close to being finished, but it doesn't matter because if they're all dead, then they can't stop you from capping last. and once again pays off with 4-0 in a matter of 10 minutes.
The one thing the Germans really need to do here is they either need to send their soldier fast to try and defend war, or they really just need to stop playing war so fast and aggressive. As we do see yet again, Azunis bombing in, gets the sync onto war, and war's going to go down. That is so detrimental to this mid, and it's looking like this mid's already over.
1 HP, gets an arrow, will stay alive before he gets hit by another rocket himself. And yeah, it's not a completely disastrous mid loss, but like you said before, war just keeps dying early on these mid fights, and they just are forced to concede immediately once that happens. And it might as well just be a huge stalemate here, but Ora Elektro have different ideas. They want to actually finish this early. They don't want to waste 20 minutes of just standing here. Soldiers jumping in to choke, dealing a lot of damage, not quite forcing Duo because it just wasn't there yet, and Phil and Fish will go down. Demos will stay alive, bomb unsuccessful though. And in the meantime, both soldiers on the other side just flanking around. Duo eventually comes in once the Germans have been baited forward despite being 2 down. Bad position for the Germans all around. Puppy behind gets cleaned up by Unable, but they forced it back so far. War in bad position, actually hits a pipe on the Devil, and this whole fight favored Ora so much, but they just go too far. Lose 2 for 2 in the end. Both medics will go down, and this could have gone so much better, but they just chased too far, I think.
Yeah, they definitely got caught out there. They really wanted to get forward. They went through the one shutter, and they kind of got ahead of themselves. They wanted to start trapping off spawn, start getting that last push, but what they didn't realize is that they still need to cap second to cap last. That is definitely an integral part of competitive Team Fortress the second. And they did not do that. They lost players, so now it will be even Ubers, but so far from what we've seen from Ora, especially in the second map, I have no doubt that they'll be able to maybe come out with something. Perhaps we'll see some of the Scruff Spy.
Well, we also have honey crits. They're not really building, it's mostly just a matter of getting before Damos does here, and trying to surprise them once the Uber goes off on their part. So let's see if that works out in the end.
I'm hoping to see laser beams. However, the dispenser pick is in, and they are going to push off of it, as we do see the gun also going down. Scruff is going to get eliminated in the push, and they basically got nothing. So Honey with the full crits here, looking to try and make his team look peachy keen here as War is going to reload. Looks like they're going to be trying to take this through the shutter, and it looks like they're ideally going to finally pop it off. Such a snipe! Demos is going to go down. War is incredibly nuts with those sticks, and he's not going to find much else. The crits actually gets onto Unable.
Honey should have died. Scruff cleans it up on Sniper though. Just barely getting that kill still, but they lose 5 players forward, and Scruff might as well not be here anymore, because there's not so much he can do that with everybody actively chasing him down on the point. Will get clean up as well. Effectively wipe Demo spawn, but it doesn't matter. He died to the crits to begin with. Honey dying here is such a huge setback in this big moment of success, and that they desperately needed though.
Yeah, we definitely saw a glimmer of old Warhuria there. An amazing sticky snipe through choke, and after that, the cleanup from the scout crits.
I could get my EU history wrong here, but I don't think Old War hit crit stickies either, so that's not quite accurate, I think. Either way though, it helps them a lot, and they continue playing with the crits here, trying to replicate that success once again, but it's a different situation. It's mid to second for them now that they need to deal with. They will have slight ad, they're not really building with the crits, but they still have ad just by the nature of it at the end of this, and once again they just need to hit these shots here right now. When Shocky in the meantime takes a fight with the Zooms on the flank, will win that as well. Opens up a lot of opportunities and makes life a little bit easier in general as the jumps come in. Fish completing the charge here, with the rest of them following up through choke. War just waiting to line up a shot, not using the crits yet, just waiting for things to be coming closer, but Honey lets them come too close, will go down. Demos just popped into them, making it much too linear there for Ora Elektro to react to a very obvious crits play with how long they waited there. And they just pop into that, kill 3 people, and it's only 3 people they need to deal with now, and that makes life a lot easier. Unable Fish still close, wanting to get something done here, but they spot Unable, they spot Fish, they spot War. Unable please gets the kill, they're finally in front of
Is he gonna get Demo maybe?
No, will die just before, and it slows them down though. The spawns come in, War Fish on heals are on mid, they have this advantage, but they're far away from having Aura, so they just want to take the fight, and War baits Puppy into the sticks. Phil jumps forward, deals a lot of damage, forces people back, and suddenly all is turned around just by the nature of Unable getting a single kill here.
Yeah, and with Puppy still down, looks like they're going to be opting to try and get a push here. A nice bomb off the wall for a soldier here, Dr. Phil. And Azunis, again, caught in the back lines. The last couple of deaths from him have been a little questionable. Dying in IT there, he was a little bit far forward, caught out, couldn't really get any help from his team. And actually, we're going to see the Uber out from Scruff. They're going to try and come in and walk in from the side and try and catch Honey. But it's just the scout against War and the medic, and it's not going to help much when they're just getting backcapped by Shocky. Shocky just does that.
They just probably got caught in so many different ideas they wanted to do there, and they wanted to push into second to block the point. But then Demos just wanted to go back to last because they knew people were going to last, and then Scruff was just alone and not Ubered anymore, couldn't actually get any kills easily, and nobody was where they should be basically. And the Germans just profit from that easily.
Yeah, well, the Germans looking to make a comeback here. Still 15 minutes and anybody's game, especially now that they won't get 5-0'd for sure at least, as we do go into this fifth mid. High bombs from both soldiers off to the side and they meet each other, slamming headfirst off of the jump. And now we do see the Germans once again taking this right side high ground on their side, and actually a really crispy rocket coming out from Fish, going to take down Eames. Scruff going to go down in sewer as well. And while some frags will actually be traded, War especially, actually that's going to look like potential repushing for Ora, as it's a scout and medic versus soldier and medic. We're going to see Ulta Trio actually, as the other scout is here, and the Uber does get forced out from demos. So Honey is going to be up with this full Uber ad as he is back on the medigun.
Alright, my game just exploded in that second and I barely see what's going on right now, but I see the Germans win the mid-fight. Honey is alive, and that's all that matters right now. They need this momentum to win desperately, and an Uber advantage out of the mid-fight is so important for them right now. It just makes things go so much faster.
Yeah, we see once again soldiers jumping in, trying to make that space for their team, but I feel like this is a little bit too early for this soldier to be in, especially with Unable going down and the Uber getting forced out here from War and Shocky and Honey. This is not the situation you want to be in right now if you are Verdasley's doof. Oh. Yeah, basically the Uber getting forced out and then losing a player, and then now Demos coming up on that 95% Uber charge and likely looking to push out. They are 3 rounds up, so they still definitely could just hold this last. And we actually see both Shocky and Dr. Phil hiding near Shutter, so we'll see if this is actually able to catch them out. Looks like they're just gonna concede their Uber advantage, just sit on last, play the Highlander game with this Scruff Engineer Nevo Sniper. And, yeah.
Just to fill you in, my game just crashed, unsurprisingly. That happens good once a day.
It happens. This is quite an old game, so sometimes it just decides to go to sleep. It's a very sleepy boy, and it'll wake back up in a second. But for now, what I want to see wake up is Enabled, who is on the sniper, and if he's able to get a pick in here, it might open something up for the Germans to push and take a second round. Oh no! Eames is going to get a fat pipe onto Honey, and connecting the Mario direct, it is going to be the pill that drops him, and that is not what you want when you're trying to take your second round after being down 1-4.
Back in the game. Fish tries to desperately back up, and he already spotted to begin with, but then there's a gun on the other side, and the soldier yet on second, so nowhere to go for the poor guy. He gets picked up as well, and like you said, if you lose your medic like that to some pipes, it's not looking too good. Honey already died in a lot of bad situations, but just can't afford to pile up anymore. Push comes in with Uber, Raw and Phil go down, but they don't get much else. Honey will have advantage out of this, but they are still 2 down, and trying to fight this in just this situation right now is just a hugely desperate attempt. Granted, they are 3 rounds down, so they need to get desperate at some point here, but they need to pick the fights wisely right now. Phil still on respawn, and Ora just picks the fight here with the players being down and no Uber to speak up on the defense. So they're just trying to throw in some damage, maybe find some random success, not landing too much. People go weak, nobody will fall down, and that means that Ora's mild attempt here goes unsuccessful. The Germans now, eventually, with Honey having charge, can approach into mid.
Yeah, the IT play is going to come out. They're actually going to Uber onto War, trying to get these sticks forward, but Ora Elektro came prepared. They came prepared with their own Uber charge and a nice kite play. So they're going to walk in and have a much better exchange here. They're getting a bunch of damage onto Honey. Honey is so low. How is Honey not dead? Honey is literally the best medic in Team Fortress 2 for still being alive after all the players that just ran at him. And because of all the players that just ran at him, now it's just Scruff and Nevo and Demos. And it's looking like the Germans are going to have another opportunity to get into the second here, as we see War trying to jump in, stick off the area for his friendly gamers, and we're going to see the soldier fighting the scout here, and we're going to see potentially a push here from the Germans.
Yeah, they needed a fight like this to go their way, just barely scraping it out, but they do get back to second with that as soon as basically just gets denied the moment he peeks his eyes into the second pipe down by War. Eventually I think that was a roller even, and that's a pick into last with that. That makes life so much easier. It's not a huge ad, but with the one pick they have, it's gonna be a lot easier. They come in from lobby right side, trying to push over to the left, get something done here, not getting too much done as people just rotate away from them, trying to capture the damage is there for Ora. All over the place, they're just getting completely destroyed. Eames deals so much damage, and all his teammates are there to clean up.
Eames just ate Germans for breakfast. Those were some very nice stickies coming out, just massive loads of damage, and it's going to allow them to push out, and we see, once again, the charge advantage in the favor of Ora Elektro, and I'm guessing they're going to want to do something with it here, as we see them wrapping behind through IT. They're going to catch this team totally off guard as Honey is going to go down. They're wrapping all behind, but actually the back cap's going down right now. They have 3 players, 4 now, trying to get this, and they could potentially roll this right to last, as there's nobody on last. It's just the scouts, and it's a mad dash to try and get back and defend, but it's not going to be enough, and that's going to be a second round for the Germans.
Yeah, the surprise pickup. It's what the Germans like to do, I want to say. It happens basically every game, and Ora just didn't anticipate it, and they guys like these, especially when it's getting close to being that time. Well, maybe not that close, but you know, it's getting closer and closer at least. You need to be ready for cheese to come your way.
Yeah, unfortunately they brought everybody in on that IT Uber, and they decided to be like, yeah, let's just not check sewer. And that's going to lead them to lose the round and go into the next mid, as we see a little bit of a flubbed bomb there from the soldier. Other soldier's going to try and fly in and take over, however, is going to be taken down, as we do see Honey and his favorite scout unable to try to push this left side, and are going to successfully be able to push them out. Oh.
Yeah, that is pretty simple pincer movement, 2 left, 2 right at the end of that. Just slowly but surely pepper in the damage from different sides, and Ora just could split up in time to deal with that. Slowly but surely pushing them out here, getting a mild Uber set out of this, but it doesn't mean a lot. It's still gonna probably end in a stalemate, or just waiting for the spawns to come in and then settle with the stalemate. They still have the lead here, 2 rounds up in comparison, with still plenty time left, 7.5 minutes for each side to have this go any other way than it is currently. And more so than that, more than enough time for the Germans to come back in here, which they slowly but surely have been doing after how fast they went down 4 rounds in the first place.
Yeah, the comeback has definitely been looking real, knock on wood, as we do see the double, the fake soldier bomb into the real soldier bomb. However, the real soldier bomb is going to do literally 0 damage to Demos. A little bit of a, can I get a sad face in chat, Team Fortress TV, for unfortunately not a bomb that's going to work out, but they do have plenty of time still, 6 minutes to get 2 rounds, so I'm sure that's the first sack of many. Or maybe he'll open the door and let Shocky get on Spy or Sniper. Shocky's been really favoring the Spy recently, so who knows? Yeah,
I wouldn't even be surprised if they go for some sort of weird exchange. Wouldn't be the first time they've done it. The question is how they will be executing this and how Ora Elektro deals with it. So far, the only thing that happens is War being completely far forward in PC before anybody comes to back him up, and it just leaves Honey completely vulnerable. Needs so much damage, but it doesn't quite die. The pack isn't there, somebody took it though. He's weak. Fish jumps in the meantime to jack off of any of what's happening right now, so nobody cleans up Honey. And it's still just not good enough.
Yeah, Fish's trade there is actually pretty important because it takes all of the eyes away from the computer room, and it allows the Germans to kind of walk out for free, saving them from a potentially disastrous situation, and instead just kind of losing a soldier and being able to reset. So, good on them.
Yeah, that was a bit strange. Like, War played so far ahead of the rest of the team that it almost cost them another good, even Uber situation here to play off, but like you said, they managed to come back from it, but they have so much more to come back from. Still down 2 rounds here. Ora is just looking very happy with playing this damage right now. Another jump by Fish comes through. People might be out of position, but not enough to not be able to deny him. Second jump by Phil again. Everybody just completely took apart Phil and Fish midair, one by one, and easy enough for the scouts here.
Yeah, Dr. Phil getting sent straight to the moon, one-way ticket, and it's looking like the ticket in for Ora Elektro is they're looking to push, and actually the Uber trade is going to come out from Honey. A lot better here from Demos as he's walking with Scruff, and he's going to try and clean up the rest of these players as this Uber does come off, and he's going to get the 2-shot onto Honey. Easy for Scruff, as now they're going to be walking into mid. It's just unabled left here. Barely any HP. He's going to try and get something done, and he actually does. He gets Eames, and Dr. Phil is in to support him. So maybe not all hope is lost, as we're going to see him walking into sewer. He's going to be trying to fight soldiers and scouts all by himself, and he gets out. Such a crazy play right there.
Yeah, Demos surviving all of this is so big for them. I'm sure they got forced back all the way back to second, despite technically getting a good entry into mid. But it's better to keep your medic alive at the price of that. So they choose to just abandon space and keep players up, keep Demos up on this 30% advantage, roughly. Germans, however, have different ideas. They need to get in here, and they typically try. So just jumping through, war forward with unable. No kills are really being gotten as soon as dies, but he came in from behind a piece of Honey forward. And it's just all falling apart yet again. Eames dies eventually as well, but never is there to clean that up. And if we didn't have desperate attempts before, this clearly was won by the Germans.
Yeah, unfortunately they decided to go for the feed play there, and oh boy is Ora Elektro hungry. Hungry for this this second map here, as it's 2-4 and there's only 4 minutes left, and they're gonna have full Uber ad walking into IT here.
And also being met up to soldiers trying to get some damage and getting at least one kill out of that, but not the one they've been looking for. That was the the second off of getting the medic. But the 4 still comes out just due to being scared. Demos using his Uber there will slow things down to the point where they just decide to not even try to defend second anymore with 2 down and no Uber. So mid it is for now, but even then they are still 2 down before the spawns come in. There's still a little bit of time left. The Germans take their time to just come back in here, try to bust open the midpoint. And so far, again, Ora Elektro is just playing this so conservatively. Just go back to second even and try to not lose any lives anymore, but they still have to deal with this disadvantage here.
Yeah, well, safety first has definitely been their motto so far. Once they've gotten this this round advantage and realized that the Germans want to come back. Time is ticking down though. Only 180 seconds left, and not looking too great right now. But Honey does have this Uber advantage, and they're going to try to be walking it through lower. War's actually going to take a lot of damage from the soldier, but the soldier gets punished for trying to peek War, and actually now they have a potential route into last as they're going to walk the scout and Demo into Shutter, trying to stick off the left side. The medic is going to get Uber here as Demos pops it off, and looks like they're going to be taking the exchange. Nobody's going to die except for, again, that Poppy kill, so still room potentially for the Germans to get in here. A high bomb onto the medic, though, really nicely timed. Honey just barely lives, surfs out, and so much damage from Shocky and Fishkoff on last. It's going to be a third one for their Dusties to do.
Yeah, that was so many good jumps at the same time. Onto Aura's combo and by Izuna's onto theirs, but it was only Honey and War that he could deal damage to, whereas everybody else was busy killing everybody else on his team. So yeah, this is it basically. 2 minutes left is just about enough time to get around here without a complete wipe on mid. So this is what it comes down to now.
Yeah, and the one thing War had going for him, the super fast bombs. Azunis doesn't go for the fast bomb onto the pack, so he doesn't get completely clobbered, but we're actually going to see Phil trying to... Oh! Phil is so good! He hits a crazy air shot onto Demos, and now everything's looking up potentially as long as Honey can get alive here with Stefan and Enabled and Fishkoff at his side. Hopefully he's able to live. Scruff going for the sack play, but nothing coming of it. And it's just Poppy, Nevo, and Eames. It's a scramble to get for the medic, and nobody's able to do it. Such a fantastic play right there.
And I think Scruff found himself like super close to Honey as well, but he had a scout in his sideline, so he shot the first shot onto the scout instead. Could have gotten damage onto Honey that people could play off, but it just shouldn't be, it seems, and it will keep Honey alive. A minute left after the quite long mid-fight that is, but with 2 minutes they had the time for it, like I said. And they just need to convert now. They had so much trouble with these before, but they managed to slowly crawl their way back here, and the last 60 seconds will decide if they're good enough to push last anymore.
There's 1 minute left, and it's a hope, a dream, and a wish here. as the Germans have this 50% advantage, and they're going to be walking into lobby here. Looks like they're going to be taking this through the forward door as it's popped immediately onto the demo. They're going to try and get this sentry down as early as possible. They take it down pretty easily, and War's going to jump through. He's going to jump on the medic, hit some nice damage. It's not going to do enough, but it's going to do a lot of distraction. But the Pudis now, the Pudis is the pivotal point in this push now, as they're not able to push anything down, and damage is going the other way. I see GG's in the chat. It's looking unlikely for the Germans to be able to do anything, especially after that. Unfortunately, beef last push.
Yeah, again, just a case of nobody playing together as much as you needed to. That they had people on the point, they had people in, but none of the people that weren't on the point were shooting anybody that tried to block it on Ora's end. So the people that tried to play point as a scout, I think Shocky were completely on their own trying to do that, while basically no backup was there. And Ora wins it just barely 3-4 without a golden cap, but it's a win on the next. That's 6 points, and as much as the win for the Germans, even by golden cap here, wouldn't have meant too much for the Germans anymore players-wise, because Ora would have just had more points either way. As it stands now, they could have still made Ora lose points here, which would have made it easier for Swift to overcome them tomorrow. Now Swift has to win 6 points in order to make it into playoffs.
Yeah, relying on something like that is unfortunate, because you're basically praying that the other teams get you into playoffs, and that's not really anything you can, rely on, as opposed to, winning the games yourself.
Well, the one thing that Ora is going for in this situation is that Feint that Swift has to play is the favorite in that game. It's like 3rd against 4th by positions before this game. After this game's like 3rd against 5th or something like that. So, like, statistics would be in their favor, but it's still not something, like you said, you want to rely on. Feint could easily just, like, choke, like many teams have before them, and Swift would make it. So, you never know. Ora has half a leg into the playoffs, and let's see if the other one follows up tomorrow, or if Swift has different ideas about that, because they are also keen to make it.
Yeah, I do want to talk about these statistics, though. So I do have the logs pulled up, and once again, it's been the scruff show. But the one player I really want to highlight that, put so much focus in, especially in the early game, was Azunis. Azunis basically controlled the pace of every single mid up until, round 7. Just getting there faster than War, and just completely shutting out any chance and hope in his mind of doing anything. Basically, he got killed in 3 of the mids by an incredibly fast bomb because he just got overrun, and it really cost a lot of precious rounds, and it was insurmountable.
If you have
in the
a
end.
game that was as fast as this was at times, having a positive KAD at least on Roma is pretty good, and as much damage as he dealt as well. 2nd highest damage in the game. That's really, really good. And I'm kind of surprised that War did as much damage as he did, because for the first 10 minutes they just shut him down really effectively, like you said. But eventually War just came alive again, realized, oh wait, I'm good enough to win this, and they almost were, but just shouldn't be quite at the end.
Yeah, I think... Ooh, and... Oh yeah! Europe, interviews.
Yeah, Epic. People that want to talk. We have people waiting, and we have Ora Elektro people, because I'm probably happy about what happened here. We have Eames, Papi, and Scruff. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Thank you.
So, almost playoffs, not quite yet. There's still one day waiting for you, basically. How does that feel?
Don't care.
It's a relief. Scruff?
I mean, we did what we could. Now it's just up to Feint to bring it home.
Alright, how did you feel about that game? That was quite something. Really good showing on Badlands, and really good start on Process, but then it got harder and harder as time went on.
Yeah, pretty fair and cringe, if you ask me. I don't know what my team's doing.
I can talk about that one. Although I feel like, we'd actually been saying after the Swift game we need to not switch off when we're winning. But it literally got to 4-0, and I was I kind of tuned out for 10 minutes, and then suddenly we were it was getting a bit close, so that was a bit... I shouldn't have done that.
Our main caller stopped calling. It's weird. It's a weird one.
Dude, I didn't stop cooling, I just didn't really do anything. Kind of did 100 DPM for 10 minutes, so that was unfortunate.
Well, that's quite something.
Yeah,
Hey,
with your main color, not what you want.
that's like your first like 6 points in Prem since like 2 seasons ago or something, or 3 seasons ago. I don't even know.
No, we got 6 points last season.
Oh yeah, and you got them last season. I forgot. Yeah, that's where you got the last 6 points. That's the second 6 points in Prem. So hey, that's that's something to look forward to.
Thank you.
And they could be the most important ones, depending on how tomorrow goes.
Well, if Feint show up with their full roster, they probably win. That's not even BM, Feint are just good.
I've played 3 seasons of Prem and I have won 6 points 3 times, I think.
Yeah, that's unfair though. Beta played Prem when it was good.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Oh, well, that's still one step closer to the playoff stream. And unfortunate for the Germans, obviously, they almost came back, like you said. You were sleeping a bit on the job. Console, do you have any specific questions here about the game?
Specifically for Scruff, I know you just rejoined the team recently, and obviously you put in, just boatloads of work in that last game. You top DPM'd both, and in that first game you got some pretty key med drops. How's it feeling to be back with the team?
Yeah, I mean, I quite lucky because I didn't expect it to come back. I thought they were going to keep playing with Marish, and I just got lucky with timings. But yeah, it's like my favorite team, I guess, because I played with them for a while now. We had a really good LAN, and so it's just great to be back, and it's great to be winning as well. Long may that last. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll damage Scruff on Badlands.
Well, you'll have to forgive me. I am a North American, so we do have about 30 less IQ on average. So, please forgive.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scruff is taking some nice Ubers. It was nice to see. Been working on it in scrims. Every time it was going wrong. And the official, Scruff just gets a 6k.
Well, you guys definitely put on a crazy performance there, and Scruff, you this being your favorite team, after the performance you put on and how little EU I watch, this might now be my favorite team too, so smiley face.
Nice.
Thank you.
Why you said thank you, Eames?
Because you said Ora was your favourite team.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Eames is just taking credit for Ora now? How's Hampus going to take that?
That's true.
He's the mascot.
It's like his dad's team or something, I don't know, it's the meme.
Yeah, the fact that all Ora Elektro thing is just some like electronics store. It's getting more and more confusing the less Hampus has to do with the team.
Hampus' dad paid for us to go to LAN.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get them to fly you out to RGB4. That would be interesting.
Sounds good.
Come out to Philly.
Well, at least there's any American lands.
Hey.
Batman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have any more questions, so let's just wrap this up. Any shoutouts, you guys? Let's start with Eames.
Shout out to Nurse Boy. I know, shout out to you guys for doing the cast. Shout out to Scruff for being an absolute beast.
Alright, Poppy.
Shout out to you, Samael, RTZ, Bulba.
And Scoff.
Yeah, shout out to my team. Shout out to the cast. Yeah.
Alright, Console, you anything to say?
Yeah, I've got a couple of shout-outs. Shout out to Slack and Beater for bringing me in on this cast very, very last minute. I literally had just woken up and I've not watched EU in 5 seasons actively, so it was a little bit of rough in the start, but it was a blast casting with you. And shout-outs to RGB4. Hopefully it's going to be what Episode 3 could have been, and maybe I might have to get in contact with some EU teams to see if I can make it even bigger.
Wait, what's this? Is there no rewind?
So the RGB series is kind of like a LAN on the East Coast that's been happening.
I heard about that LAN before.
So unfortunately,
didn't one happen recently?
Yes, just 2 weekends ago, and I'm actually a staff boy. I run the stream.
Ooh, nice.
So hoping to basically try and make it the big NA LAN now that Episode 3 is looking pretty grim. And I might have to try and get in contact with some
Just
Ora boys.
add Cadus or something, he'll probably go.
Yeah. Maybe I can pay you guys to get out here. I'll pay you in Robux. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Great. Well, you heard it here first. Ora Elektro to RGB LAN. First team confirmed for the invite bracket.
Nice.
Well, Dumb, obviously you've been controlling the cast. How many shoutouts? Wait, is Dumb
He
here?
just died? Isn't that time out? Don't worry, I got you, bro. I got this. Yo, thank you for watching Ora Elektro versus the German
Hold
team.
on, I'm the caster here.
What? Why do you get to do it, Eames?
Because you don't do casting. I'd
I'm
cast all
a
the time.
caster, man. Do you not see me cast with Condog?
No. What? When?
Oh, he's back.
Hey,
I don't have
he's
to
back.
Hey.
So
Connection
Dumb,
died.
yeah. TF2, now Mumble, not like this, but I think we've gone through most of our shoutouts. Do you have any yourself?
Shoutouts to German internet for dying once a day. Like exactly at the time when TF2 happens. Every time. Consistently, so that's fun.
Yep.
And yeah, with that being said, let's just wrap this up. And next game, currently scheduled for tomorrow, so let's hope that happens actually tomorrow so we don't lie here on stream. And that should be Feint against Swift. The final playoffs decider. Swift can make it if they win. If not, then the boys here on Electro will make it instead. So that should be exciting. Badlands and Forces once again, and we see you next time.